Honey, can you call the kids so we can grab dinner downstairs?
Sure, I can call them. Or I can text them. Susie's at the pool, Jimmy's at the fitness center, Jill is at the basketball court. I could ping them. I could...
Kids.
Wi-Fi's free here, so I will just go old school and email them. Got full bars, so...
At Homewood Suites, you'll find everything you need to be at home.
Sean and Rachel McNulty were married in a romantic, picture-perfect ceremony. And then 3 days later, Sean disappeared. Now, the next time Rachel saw him, his memory was wiped clean. He had no idea who she was. Chris Cuomo has the story of an extreme affliction that could destroy a marriage.
What would happen if the love of your life had an accident and couldn't remember you? Amnesia.
She doesn't remember me.
Hollywood is currently telling this story in The Vow, based on a true story. None could be truer than what you are about to hear. A newlywed husband who forgot the wedding, the vows, forgot what marrying even is, forgot what a wife is.
In my eyes, I saw her as a stranger, but in her eyes, she saw me as her husband.
That stranger was Amy Harrison, who just 3 days after marrying Sean McNulty, lost him to the mysterious world of amnesia.
Didn't know who the president was. Didn't really understand where Houston was versus Austin, what Texas was. He'd lost a lot.
Before their nightmare began, Sean and Amy had been dating for 6 years. During a romantic vacation in Hawaii, Sean proposed.
It turned out beautifully. It was a perfect wedding, like a fairy tale.
The wedding was as joyous as they imagined. The finishing touch would be honeymooning in Italy. But tragically, one of Sean's groomsmen got in a serious car accident on the way home from the wedding. He was in a coma, clinging to life. Sean and Amy were reluctant to leave his side. Full of anxiety, they were convinced to go on their trip anyway.
We parked our car and took a shuttle bus to the terminal. He realized that he had forgotten his wallet, and he said, well, it's probably in the car, I'll be right back.
But as the time ticked by and there was no sign of Sean, Amy began to panic and called Sean's mother.
Amy called and said, Sean's been gone an hour and 40 minutes. I don't know what to do. I don't know where he is.
She asked the shuttle bus dispatcher to check all the buses for her husband. Still, no Sean. As their intended flight pulled away, Amy was desperate and went looking.
The car was there, the wallet was not.
What did you think had happened?
I thought that he was hurt or that he got mugged or something.
She contacted the police and told them something was wrong. In hours, a search was mounted.
And Amy was crying, Sean's mom was crying.
Tim Miller is the director of Texas EquiSearch, an organization that uses horses to help find missing persons.
We felt as though we was going to find his body 3 or 4 miles from the airport.
The wedding party was now a search party, combing the woods near the airport.
Houston authorities are treating this as a missing persons case, and now
Amy appealed on the local news for any information.
If anyone has seen him, please call the police. We just want him home.
What happened to Sean McNulty? Had he been mugged or kidnapped? Was he escaping a lifetime commitment to Amy? Or something worse? For 3 days they searched day and night, and just as the inevitability of his disappearance set in, a breakthrough. An incoherent and bug-bitten man was discovered by police, wandering aimlessly at this abandoned motel.
I tried to ask him where he'd been, and he really didn't know.
Amy got the news and raced to the hospital.
He just was so dehydrated at that point. He had lost 30 pounds.
When I immediately saw him, I knew there was something.
He didn't even register that I was there.
He just seemed so out of it. It was very frightening.
I said, do you know your name? And he said, no. And I said, do you remember who I am? And he just shook his head, and that was scary.
The I do's of just days ago had turned into a very frightening, I really can't remember.
Those first few moments when someone comes to say, I'm your wife, I'm your mom. Well, see, I didn't know what wife and mom were at the time.
Sean's mind was a blank slate, and he had to rely on others to explain everything. Understandably, the most difficult time for Amy was when she would instinctively reach out to give her husband a tender touch. For Sean, they were simply gestures from a stranger.
I had to learn how to ask him, can I hug you? I mean, that was hard. And then, when he finally started hugging back, that was nice. So
6 weeks after his disappearance, Sean still has no memory of anything before he was found, and is relearning about the world around him, guided by Amy, whom he's told is his wife.
So what was it like to bring him home the first time?
we had to basically give him a tour of the place and show him around, kind of show him where everything was, things like his clothes and bedroom and bathroom.
Sean was a stranger in his own home, searching for anything to help him connect with his past, drawing a blank at every turn.
How about like bank codes, all those crazy numbers that we all have to remember to get through life?
I don't remember.
They're all gone. You didn't remember what shows you like to watch?
I still don't know what shows I like to watch. I just kind of go from what Amy says as far as what we watch.
He didn't even have a concept of what music was, which is pretty troubling for a person who had a nighttime job as a DJ.
You walk into this room, you see all these records. How much of it came back?
None. Someone says, oh, this is rock. What's rock?
Taste that a child would recognize had vanished completely.
Like he bit into an orange and didn't realize that it was going to be, didn't expect it to be citrusy, didn't understand what it was, and was like, oh, what is this,
Sushi, I like sushi. Some spicy foods I don't like.
foods.
But you did like them once.
Egg.
Psychiatrist and professor Dr. Daniel Brown has spent years studying the complex workings of the mind. We arranged for Sean and Amy to meet him. With their consent, Dr. Brown shared some of his observations of Sean.
This is amnesia.
Amnesia is the memory part, but in addition to the memory part, there's no sense of a personal identity. In other words, he's lost the identity he previously had prior to this episode.
He's not Sean McNulty anymore.
He doesn't know who Sean McNulty is and has no personal memories or autobiographical memories to account for who he might be.
A dissociative fugue state is what Dr. Brown calls this rare condition affecting a fraction of 1% of the population. Doctors say in almost all cases, the memory will return. They just can't say when.
Impressive.
His friends and family began the difficult task of introducing Sean to the old Sean,
Jeremy,
trying to reignite powerful memories, like the trip to Hawaii where he asked Amy to marry him. But all they got was a vacant stare.
Looks like I had a good time. Some good friends. I don't remember it.
It's sort of like if you were to write a text in your computer, and then you stored it, and you tried to access it, but you forgot the file name. And you know it's there, but you can't get at it. His memory is like that. He still has the file.
I think it's just really sad that this had to happen for how we start our life. And I'm sorry.
I said for better or worse, but the worst just came before the better, so I'm here for him.
But how long will Amy wait for Sean's memory to come back? How long can a marriage survive when the one you love doesn't know you well enough to even love you back?